Hi, my name's Sam Price, the Crypto Life. For every single Friday, I do a top-down analysis. We go over Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance, the total market cap, S&P futures, gold, the DXY, and more. Give you a big picture of the macro markets. We're also going to throw in oil there for you too as well. It's basically everything you need to see so you're not trading emotionally. You're zooming out, and every Friday you can see a big picture idea of what's happening to the market. So let's do that for you right away. Let's jump on into BTC and show you what I see happening on the bigger time frame. Bit of a cup and handle here. Could be the higher low that boosts us further to the upside. That's what everyone's looking for. Could Bitcoin do this cup and handle here like it did back in, back on the daily when we were at 15,000, right? And I showed that fractal on my live stream. I don't want to spend time on it now, but it'll blow your mind. I think you'll really, really like it. So here's the deal. The monthly candle needs to close green, right? We got our first green close, which is amazing. First one in 5 months. We just need this one to also close green and get this movement back to the upside. Another thing about the monthly is we have resistance here where these two candle bodies closed, and we've wicked right to that area at 65,000. Unless you close a monthly candle below 65K, we're not going any lower, folks. So we need to see a monthly candle close below 65,000, or this is the bottom. So technically, there's a chance that Bitcoin is beginning a bottom here. And I like that the beginning of the month is red. We want to see the month basically from the 1st to the 7th. You'd like to see a dump. Then you'd like to see recovery. That'll create this type of wick here on this. Whenever you see a green candle with a nice wick, that means it was red at first. And we recovered back to the upside. So usually, it could go up, then down, then up again. But usually it's down, back up, and that's what you're seeing. So we're looking for a green candle next to a red one, which we got. And now we want to see a continuation. So far, so good on the monthly. And if you were to take a look at where we would end up, this is a falling wedge. Came back to support or resistance. You pull a Fibonacci from this wick to that wick, and you bounced off the 786 Fibonacci retracement, which is a key area. I really like to see that. And then you got the bigger move further to the upside, right? You could take the measured move here. That's your first leg. And that takes you to 138. And then your next leg is just that whole length. And you go all the way up to about $178,000. That would take till March of 2028, kind of front running into the next halving. But it does show you that Bitcoin could start its new rally. This could be the end and the beginning of a new rally. If it's not, let me show you the next worst case scenario. If we don't end up bottoming here on the monthly and we end up going lower, what's likely going to happen, let me show you here on the 5-day, is this is going to turn into some type of bear flag here. You might even bounce up and down and go sideways for a few more months before you eventually dump. So you might come up, come down. Let me show you exactly. Like you might do something like this and then break down. So there's still a chance this will bear flag us further down, folks. And that we're going to see 28. Wow, that's just 28K. I got 38,000. I'm a little too much on that one. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I keep getting about 38,005. 38,370 is the measured move of this bear flag. So it's almost like if Bitcoin can't get back in the next, I'd say in a month, if Bitcoin can't close back above 75,000 by even by the mid-May, I feel like we're consolidating for a bigger dump. So we won't even have all the answers yet. In a month from now, we could still be waiting to see if we dump. So I'm going to update you every day as this continues, and you got to keep your eye on it. You got to keep watching it. But for the macro, what you really want to see for this week is you want to make sure that the 5-day chart never breaks that low. You want to see that this daily cracks out of this falling wedge. Really important that you get a breakout of this falling wedge. Right? And so what you want to see, for me personally, is on the local time frames, you got to get back above 69K. You get back above 69K, then we can get back to these highs and go test 73.8. But you get rejected here, roll over. I can see this as a bearish retest of this trend line. See, you have a head 1, 2, 3. You bearishly retested it. And you can almost throw a complex head and shoulder in there, like shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. There's a neckline, and that dumps somewhere down here to like 56,000. So this could definitely go lower. There's a chance for sure. And, really, I'll be indecisive on that. You won't get confirmation until you can get above this resistance here and retest. So you really want to see Bitcoin get back above 69,005 and retest it. And that would be a really nice trade. If we end up going above it and you get in here with a stop below there and then bang. Anything else right now is aggressive, right? So to me, a head short with a stop above here in case we dump is the right move. or doing nothing and waiting for us to get above here and catching the long, you know. Otherwise, scalping small time frames, you know, but besides that. So what I'm looking for tonight is for the daily candle. Here's one thing I could do, though, and even though it's a Friday night, I don't love it, but if the daily candle closes green, enter along here with a stop below. You can even front run it right now, but it's very risky, but you do have a pretty good wick there. So you get in here with a stop below this red wick. There's a chance you catch that bottom and you get a really nice whip to the upside. You even take this Fibonacci here, and I mean, that's a perfect 786 retracement. You would expect a bounce here for Bitcoin. So on the daily time frame, it looks like we may be getting a bounce. But there's a few levels that have to get broken. Otherwise, we're going to hit resistance and still continue to roll over. So that's your update for Bitcoin. These are the levels you want to keep watching. 69.5 on the daily really is going to be your key. You get above that, boom. Tonight, or even now, you could technically front run a tweezer bottom here on a higher low daily. There's a chance it plays out. You could wait for the daily close tonight at 8 p.m. That would give you more confidence if that closes green to take the trade. Let's take a look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. It's going to look just like Bitcoin. It's going to be doing, it's basically the exact analysis because all coins take up less of the dominance now, and Bitcoin is the dominant coin. So it's the same exact idea. You know, you basically, I could redo it, but it's the same exact idea. I'll give you some levels, but it's when Bitcoin gets back above 69.5, that's the altcoins getting back above like 2.36 trillion and retesting. So we want to see this cup and handle break to the upside. We want to see this bigger move all the way to $2.66 trillion for Bitcoin. And again, the top-down analysis for Bitcoin will be basically the same. We'll take a look at Total 3, which is the entire market cap of all the altcoins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And they're going to follow Bitcoin, right? They're looking for the bottom that Bitcoin's looking for. So if Bitcoin somehow gets the move, Solana's going to get the move. Everything's going to get the move, and you're going to get a big pump out of this cup and handle. I've seen this before. We did this exact thing down here. Where were we? Is that the, let's see here. Yeah, right about here. I guess you can't see. It's not as good here on, but there's that cup. There's the handle. You see, as we were getting lower, we made this higher low. Then we made this falling wedge. But eventually, that was our a huge move back to the upside. It looks more apparent on the Bitcoin chart. I did show it the other day. I feel like I got to show it now. Hold on. I'll show it for you real quick, just because it's so amazing. But when we bottomed here at 19,000 and 15,000 here, this looks so much like what's going on right now. You know, there's that strange cup. There's the handle. We broke out of it to the upside. It's almost like they're reusing the same algo. Like, it worked last time on the emotion, so we could do it again on these people. You know, I mean, you can take the bars pattern and you can run this fractal back over there. I guess I knew I was going to eventually do it, right? It just takes time, and I didn't want to waste your time. But you can run this fractal back over there, and my editor can edit this out to when I get to the fractal. That way you won't have to wait. But let me just build this for you here. So to me, I mean, they're just so eerily similar. Again, it doesn't mean it's going to happen for sure, but I mean, they're just so locked in. You get the initial spike here. You come down for liquidity, you come back up, you go low, but you never take out the lows, and then you go on a massive rip to the upside. And there's a gap in the VRVP waiting, just like there was back then. That would take you right back to $87,000. So this is interesting, folks. And it's the same thing on Total 3, right? It's the exact same idea. So if Bitcoin can recover, everything recovers. It's simple. You go over Bitcoin, and then if you think Bitcoin's about to hedge, you can hedge an alt. Right, you can make the same trade, like you just set up the same parameters. The numbers will be different, but like your altcoin might be $93 and Bitcoin's at 67,000. But whatever it is, same structure is here. So we're looking for this higher low to break out, not for this to continue to go shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, and dump on us. And I'll be honest, because that fractal is so strong, and because it does look like a bottom to me, I feel like there's a strong potential that we have bottom. And I'll tell you what, this was at 5 twice. I've never seen this hit 5 or go below a 10 and not be the bottom. So this would be the first time in my life we didn't bottom. So I'm leaning 90% chance that Bitcoin has bottom. And I know it's like, wow, to say that on your channel and kind of go out on a whim like that. But man, 90% chance that Bitcoin has bottomed as far as I'm concerned. You look at Bitcoin dominance, and if Bitcoin's going to come back strong, you think Bitcoin dominance might get a move. And also, we might get people rushing into altcoins and Bitcoin, which could kind of get dominance to go down a little bit. Dominance looks like it wants to go down, like shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? But it is sideways and it is tight, but it doesn't look amazing. Let me just look at it free and clear again. I mean, it's in what looks to me as a descending triangle with a head and shoulder pattern, almost saying like it's going to go drop. It's going to drop. If Bitcoin was going to go on a massive tear, I feel like dominance would break up, right? I feel it. But again, people might rush into altcoins and there could be a little bit of, it might pump. And then people might think, hey, well, Solana's good. All these altcoins are good. And maybe there's a chance dominance drops. In my mind, first you want to see Bitcoin pump, grab the dominance, really start to solidify itself, and you're going to get this move up. Then it gets sideways. Then maybe alt season can start, But I would expect a bounce first for Bitcoin dominance. It doesn't look like it, though, right? Exactly. And then we look at Tether dominance, and we saw this bull flag that really wanted to break out. It was looking beautiful. Okay. Let's go zoom out to the bigger time frame. Monthly had a huge rip. It's technically like been pumping for a while, and it's a little far from the 21. So the monthly tells you you're a little overbought. Weekly actually isn't too bad. So this is what's like kind of weird about it all, right? Now maybe you make a bull div. Maybe you come up. Make a bear div. You come up and then you bear divot. But dang, man, this is. I have to be honest. Like, looks like you might pull back, but then get a pump. So. Funny, I was leaning a little more bullish when I just looked at Bitcoin structure, but when I look at Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, it stresses me a little bit there for the bulls. It tells me to be careful. Like, how could dominance pump like that? So we're going to need to see dominance break out, make a right shoulder, and then collapse. We're going to have to watch this closely, but right now it's telling me that it's going to break out. Just like we saw this flag here, and we could see that next move for Bitcoin came and went. So, Tether dominance. We're going to have to watch that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because right now, it looks not amazing. It's bullish. It's above the 200, touching the 21. It's making consolidations. It looks bullish to me. That's kind of Bitcoin. Looks like it's going to, so I don't know. Tether dominance is starting to tell us a story that Bitcoin's going to take a drop. Right? That's what it's saying. Let's take a look at the DXY. DXY has been pumping recently. And that's war. Think about it. With war, more contracts. With more contracts, they got to get the dollar going. The dollar starts to ramp up, and the dollar starts to go up in value. And I've seen it a lot of times after a big war, right? Because there's the big orders, and you got to fulfill the big orders, and the economy starts to kind of go up, and the dollar starts to grind up a little bit. So this tells me that the dollar could be on a move too. And if the dollar pumps, I've seen it pump with Bitcoin, but it's not. It's nice when the dollar dips off and Bitcoin's ripping. They can't pump together, but it also tells us, hey, maybe we see this streak in Tether dominance and this streak in the dollar, and Bitcoin next week takes a bit of a pullback. So you want to watch the DXY. It's looking bullish to me. It's above the 200, touching the 21 in consolidation. That's textbook move. And low stochastics, that thing looks like it's going to moon. If you're a Forex trader, it looks like you could take the DXY against Japanese yen, New Zealand dollar. It looks like you might have a strong week longing the DXY. I could be wrong. Maybe we make a right shoulder and dump, but right there it's looking okay. Not bad at all. Let's take a look at gold and silver. Gold's been kind of back on the move again, getting back to the upside. Let's take a look at what I saw for gold. So I dug this out, and I could see, I drew the fib, and we could see how gold probably was going to bounce off that 618. It wicked all the way to the 786, and then it came back into prominence. I had this smaller idea here on this flag, and that's what we're watching for gold now. It looks like it could break out. And then it got tighter in the channel. It's above the 200, touch of the 21 too as well. Tells me that they're going to continue to print money. The war could be uncertain. And I just feel like gold's going to continue to kind of do its thing. If I had to guess in the next 2 weeks, I feel like gold's going to move back up to 4,900, at least to this resistance at 47.8. Let me look at the big picture for gold and whittle my way down, though. I always have to do that. Yeah, what I see happening is gold just making a really big flag, just like it did here. It's going to consolidate for 8 to 10 weeks. This one looks like a bigger consolidation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 7, and, maybe 12, 13 weeks, something like that. But it looks like about 2 months of consolidation for gold, and then it gets ready for a rip. Could be a really good buy zone for gold, low on the weekly, personally. If you're DCing into a position, want to build, I'd rather buy Bitcoin or DCA, you know what I mean? And I own a lot of gold as it is. I guess I could always own more, but I'm happy with my gold stake. Yeah, but what I see happening for gold is this. And then let's look, like, is there a trade on the smaller time frame? And yeah, that same idea we were just kind of going over with you is this bigger picture idea. And even right here, gold's in a nice little flag. It's interesting. Gold and the dollar about to rip. That would be fear in war production, right? And then, so, but that looks like gold's going to go on a tear. It does. Even the 15-minute looks very bullish for gold right now. So gold looks like it's about to break out like this weekend. It's weird, you know. You might be able to buy it Friday and it gaps up this weekend. So gold looks bullish to me right now as we speak. Feels like it's going back to 4,800. We'll take a look at silver and see what's happening to silver. Silver, the same story. You can see it's almost front running gold a little bit by a few minutes, but silver also looks bullish. Has a big bounce there. Interesting. I could see silver head back to $75 an ounce. And look, that area on silver was the Fibonacci, you know. Like you pull the fib here and you can see why did silver retrace? Well, it retraced right to the 786 Fibonacci retracement. I mean, that's crazy. You buy fear. I mean, if you're sitting on your fibs, you can buy fear. You know, you look at the fib and the fib tells you what to do when everyone else is freaking out. That's why Fibonacci's are really key and clutch. Yeah, I'm looking for this to shoulder, kind of head, right shoulder, take its time and eventually break out. It does look like a great buy for silver now. Like silver and gold are going to continue to go up in value now forever. I mean, the dollar has lost a substantial shelf that I don't think it'll ever get back. And that's just going to keep pushing heavy metals. They're going to have these huge pushes up and these huge dumps down, but they're going to, over time, just keep bullying the dollar. And people are going to realize that silver is just a far better asset to be holding, right? And so that's why I got a silver bar on my desk. I think I moved it recently, but I always kept a silver bar on the desk because to remind me, man. And, you know, and you could hit someone with it. Here it is. And it's a kilo of silver. You could whack someone with it pretty hard, too. You really can. Valcambri. 1 kilo silver, baby, pure as the driven snow. You know what I mean? Well, can be Swiss. Anyway, that's gold and silver for you, so you kind of have a good idea of that. Let's take a look at oil, and then we're going to finish off with the S&P and the NASDAQ, right? I like oil here on the bigger picture. All right. So this is what I saw for oil, honestly, and I've had a bullish chart for oil for the trading group for the last few days. My idea was to get in. We were even buying it back at 60 anyway, but my idea was to get in at 103 and see where it goes. It went all the way up to about 112. We'll talk about it. Even higher, 113, and it actually really high right now. So I see oil continuing. It looks like, you know, now the U.S. wants to back out of the Strait of Hormuz, so now it doesn't even matter whether, like, whatever happens. It looks like oil is going to set to kind of continue to skyrocket. And I'll be honest, buying oil on Friday afternoon, the last 3 Fridays in a row has been the key. You just buy it on Friday. It's been in a flag on Friday afternoon. So it's telling me that you buy oil today and then you wake up Monday in the money again as it gaps up to possibly 115 to 123. So oil looks like it's going to continue to go up in value. And I got 120, 130, and 140 as my next targets, and 154 is the top target of this bigger channel for oil. So I see a scalp. I see an entry right now for oil as we speak, and I see oil headed up, which tells me that, you know, tells me there's going to be some strange things going on with this war. And now let's take a look at the S&P futures. S&P futures. I was looking for a bounce on the bigger time frame. Let's talk about it. Last time I was here on this live stream, I said, I'm looking for a bounce for the S&P futures. Remember, I said, it looks bearish, but I'm looking for us to reverse a little bit here. And look what happened. We did get the monster bounce. And I said, I know I keep saying this. I sound like a broken record, right? But I said, I keep seeing the fact that we may, now we have to get above the daily 200. That's going to be the next big hustle. We get rejected by that, we're going to roll over. Very important we get above this daily 200 and we begin to consolidate. Make some right, we do something like this. But that's kind of what I see happening. They're going to continue to print money over time. I don't see how risk assets don't go up in value if they continue to print money. And then I see them printing massive amounts of more money too. And if we go further into this war and they have to print even more money, then they're going to start, taking, war loans. It just gets crazier. It devalues the dollar more. And so in the short term, the dollar looks strong, right? Like you might kind of have a bounce. It's interesting, right? The DXY looks a little strong. How does the DXY pump with the S&P futures. I haven't seen that. It can happen, and how it could happen is we could get basically enough people to bounce back into the market. Market holds itself, and then the dollar goes up because the war goes on, and the war kind of pushes the dollar up. I'm new to this. I haven't really traded through war, not at this caliber at this stage. So this is but so when you look at right now, the warning is you'll get rejected here, and the dollar will continue to go up. You see? So you need the dollar to spike out of that flag, but then you need it to kind of get some type of bear div, which makes a right shoulder here and a breakout. And then we can consolidate. Once we break out of this and we start doing this, the idea we're going to dump down here kind of ends, and the consolidation takes over. I'm looking for that consolidation. Same thing on the NASDAQ, and you can see we're both sitting here waiting to see if we can break back through that 200 moving average. But a lot of people said we were collapsing, it was over here, and they got completely squeezed the last few days. So I said that too last week. I said I expect us eventually to bounce. Right? This was my analysis last Friday right there. Where were we? Friday the 27th, right? Right there. And I said I expect us to be somewhere higher when I come here next week. A bit of a bounce. Now, we went a little bit, but we did bounce. We did get higher. That prediction was correct from the last time we did this. So that is going to be your top-down analysis, everybody, for gold, the NASDAQ, S&P, the DXY, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, Bitcoin, the total market cap, and the total market cap of all the altcoins. I might have forgotten something there. Silver and gold, too, as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. If you like this TA, know I go live every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. You can see it in the banner on my YouTube channel. Take a picture if you want to know when I go live. I'll be back, and I'll continue to make content for you every single day, every single week, every single moment. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Crypto Lifer.